Hello, my dear friend, and how are you today? And welcome to another Mind Stiller. I am Teza, and who are you? Do you know who you are? You are a molecule, a cell, a being so important that you can't even imagine how equal to the greatest and the most wonderful other person you might be. You are. You are equal to and the same as everybody. We all have consciousness. Our mind is consciousness. Our mind is the imbiber and the maker and the receiver and the player and the lover and sometimes the hater of consciousness. Consciousness, what is consciousness? It's being aware of awareness. It's that simple. Like how awake and how aware each one of us is our own responsibility. It's our own choice. It's our own preference. Some people just don't want to be that aware because there's a lot going on. And I don't just mean the stuff you read about in the news or hear on your screens. I'm talking about this reality that we call life is much, much more than we understand at first with our limited capabilities. And those of us who are what we call seekers or explorers of consciousness or want to be happy and not tormented by the outside rocka-roo, we purposely open those doors of perception. Did you know that the band The Doors was named for that? Opening the doors of perception, which was coined, that phrase was coined by Aldous Huxley, who was an early explorer of consciousness in the 20th century, for those of you who don't know, Brave New World and other writings. So this wanting to be aware of how aware we are is nothing new. It's not a phenomena of some influencer saying, oh yes, expand your mind and hop on a plane and go take some ayahuasca. No, you don't have to do that. And matter of fact, it's pretty dangerous if you do that without proper guidance, because you could get hoodwinked. And I've met several people in South America who were in very bad straits, sometimes even death, because when you use plant medicines, they are sacred. This is like from an ancient tradition of the indigenous people wanting to be one with nature, with all that is, the magnificence, the rock that they're sitting on, and the sky above them, and the sun, and the stars, and the rain, and the earthquakes, and the fires, and everything that comes from nature, we have within us. We are part of nature. We are a molecule, a cell, a corpuscle in nature. We are not just me, 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 me. We are not just what's called the ego. We are part of this magnificent oneness. A good way to think about it is ego is E-G-O, easing God out. And God meaning the magnificence, the mystery, the sacred, whatever way that interprets to you. That is what some people call God, although that's a tricky word. Lots of wars get fought over that. We have it going on right now. What are we going to do about all the conflict? There's enough going on outside, and those of us who have had it inside, we can share, as I do with you, that the only way to deal with conflict, whether it's inside your own mind, you can't stop the conflict, you can't stop the talking, you can't stop the questioning, you can't stop feeling depressed and defeated and disappointed and all that other stuff, which is negative. It saps you. It saps your energy that can be used for other things like love instead of fear, like being creative instead of being so anxious that you can't get out of your own skin. So mind stillers are the way. Mind stilling is the way to deal with the conflict within your own self, and also the conflict that you hear about going on continuously. As soon as one conflict gets resolved, another will pop up. It's just the way of the world. It's been like that since the beginning of time. It's just we know about it all in spades because of the internet and the quickness of social media and all those other things. Now, there's great things about social media. Just this morning, I entered my new book, a wonderful magical novel. If you'd like some relief from what's going on with troubling you, try reading my book, The Bridge Tender. It's in Amazon. It's many different forms, ebook, tree book, audiobook. I entered that into a contest that I'd never heard of. Nobody has ever told me, but I found it on social media. It's the Ursula K. Le Guin Fiction Prize, for any of you who want to know. And I'm a big fan of Ursula Le Guin, who was probably the very first female, famous female, of mind exploring. And she had to use a pseudonym when she was first published in Playboy, of all places. But she couldn't even use her real name, Ursula. What an amazing world this is, that we now have so much more equality, so much more freedom, so many more opportunities to experience the height of being a human. Why not enjoy that instead of choosing to be in a state of fear, choosing to stay wrapped up with whatever's going on outside and getting yourself all freaked out, and not choosing to explore the endless possibilities of what awareness, expanding awareness, opening the doors of perception gives you and gives us and gives everybody, if we just choose to open those doors. So if you're a visual person, you can think of your mind as being a closed door if you're into anxiety, and you want to open the doors to the soothing comfort of love, light, awareness. You want to choose that. So first make up your mind that you're choosing that. That's your will. We humans are blessed with willpower. All the rest of the animals are just thriving on instinct that we know of. Maybe one day the whales and dolphins will be able to communicate with us more than they already have been and tell us, no, we are not the major species here on planet Earth. That was the theme of a Star Trek movie. I was an early Trekkie. I think Star Trek has a lot of wonderful lessons for unity, diversity, inclusion, without the politics, because it's a story. And you can use your flights of fancy when you hear a story. So instead of going into a meditation this time, which is what we always do on Mind Stillers, we actually experience the oneness of our beingness by stilling our mind. But we can do it instead of being quiet. We can do it by listening to a story, which I can share with you. Sometimes people just need to hear a good story. You know, I have no preconceptions about what I'm going to speak about when I sit down and record and offer these mind stillers to the world. I just let the flow of the energy that I have learned to just let rip through me. I just let that be the director. I have no preconceived intentions, except now it seems like it's story time. We don't even have to say once upon a time, because we can say right here, right now, we are experiencing this wonderful thing called life. And it's precious. I mean, you know that when you're around someone who has lost their life quickly, like through a car accident or a horrible kind of experience where all of a sudden it's not there. Their life has been taken away, and they are not there. Their soul has left the body. What you see in front of you when someone has left their body is just an empty shell, an empty temple where the spirit has rejoined the source from which it came originally. And I know this because I have been around people, human beings, very class people, and sometimes strangers who have left their body quickly, an accident and other ways, drowning, even a shark attack once. And I have always been awed at the enormity of how fragile life is and what a gift we are receiving, those of us who are here and breathing and have the opportunity to open our minds even more, open the doors of perception by just saying, I want to be happy. I want to know that this story that we are all involved in is a beautiful story, even though there are plot points of tragedy, conflict, confusion, all that stuff. It's a story. If you read a book that was nothing but happiness and peace, you would be so bored. You would have to put it down, because that's not a good story. And life is a story. Will Shakespeare said we're all on a stage. That's what he meant. Life is a story. We don't know how it's going to end. We're not the playwright. We're not writing the story. We're living it step by step, whim by whim, choice by choice, influence by influence, decision after decision, discriminating. Do I go there or do I not? Or some of us just let the wind blow us. I don't do that anymore. I don't let the wind blow me anywhere, because I'm a sailor, and I know if I don't set a course and have my sails set so that they're catching the wind and moving me forward, I'm just going to flop around on the beautiful deep sea, even though magnificence is all around me and the sun and the stars are so close. If I don't harness the wind, I'm not going to be moving forward. I'm just going to be flopping around. So life is like the wind. Sometimes it blows really strongly, and other times there's not even a whisper. It's like a pussycat. And I live in hurricane territory, and when the wind is blowing, it's a killer. You have to take shelter. You can't go outside walking, because you could get your head sliced off with a whipping piece of galvanized, or a brick, or a tree, or a car being lifted up by the wind. Such forces nature has. So we choose wisely in our human ability to have choice. We choose to take shelter from the storms. And when life is a storm, when we just can't take it anymore, there's so much, and we're so tired of all the conflict, be like the animals and just go to sleep. Sleep. A lot of people have trouble sleeping. Mind stillers are very handy for when you're going to sleep. Repeating, calming, soothing things, not going into the conflict, not discoursing or weighing out the things that disrupt us, but stilling our minds. People used to count sheep. Isn't that funny? It's a funny image, but hey, if it works, do it. My husband, my dear husband Carter, he loves the Jesus prayer. He is a devotee of Jesus Christ, and he finds such comfort from saying over and over when his mind is disrupted, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. I, on the other hand, am happy with a simpler mantra, and I do use mantra when my mind is so busy, so conflicted, and so engaged in fear, because fear is what's happening when we're in anxiety or confusion. And I prefer love. I prefer the state of love, which is expanded and endless instead of the constriction of fear. Love is a beautiful state to want, to wish for, and to work for. Stilling your mind and not focusing on troubles is the first step to embracing being a love junkie, a loveologist, a love freak. So when you're going to sleep, or you're even just in the middle of the day and you can't stop, or the wacka-wackaroo, you want to shut off all your screens. You want to get somewhere quiet as much as possible. Even a closet will do. What the heck? Even if you have to stuff yourself in a little closet next to whatever, and just put yourself in there and breathe. And start tuning into you are breath. Without breath, you are not alive. Even if you're in a coma, if you're on life support, if there is breath coming in and out of your lungs, even being forced in there, you are alive. And that's a beautiful mantra. Breath is life. 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 Life is breath. is life.